wonder what goes on. I wonder what I find.
Which side is the rainbow, like the leprechaun on the rainbow? Do you guys know, like the leprechaun at the rainbow? Like, where's the end? Where's the beginning?
Well, usually you only see one side, but today I saw both sides.
Your house is blessed.
I don't know. I feel like that could be a trick. You know how like dolphins seem really cute and then
They rape you?
sexually assault you? Maybe that's what rainbows are.
That's right. God, I need to get eye patches.
Oh, Amber.
I need to get eye patches and fix my fucking face. I need to lift it up and squeeze.
You want
squeeze
it
and
squished?
push it back down. Just like those old-fashioned facelifts where they would literally like pull your skin off
I like the tape.
and then put it back.
Wait, what? Is that what they used to do with a facelift?
That's what Kathy Griffin said. That's what she did. They ripped her skin off, so it's just like full
Like a
of meat,
flap?
like a flap of just red meat and bones, and they go in there and like bloop, 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 and then like pull the skin back down over your face. I'd rather just look like shit.
That's I guess you're going for a look. You're going for a
You're
look.
going for a look.
I no hate to anyone who got facelift. I love doing skincare shit. I think I'm pretty open about that.
Oh yeah, snail mucus, ZZZ lens. I love snail mucus. Give me that pussy juice.
Withdrawn
on my face.
blood from me. I've gotten it spun out of my blood and poured on my face, and then needles were punched into my face, and I loved it.
And it's your own blood.
Yeah.
Very satanic of you.
I know. It was pretty metal. I enjoy it. I'm not
I
gonna
love
lie.
it. Well, I shop at the half off Marshall's skincare section, so that might be just as dangerous. I don't know.
Yeah, it's dangerous, but might be a deal.
Hey, save a couple bucks.
Might get a steal on the thing that might break your skin out, but maybe it won't.
Who knows? I just heard that like Marshall's makes it up. So you know when you see a tag and it's like was $24.99, now $15.99. They made it up.
Those are make-em-ups?
Whoa! It's always been $15.99. They make clothes specifically for Marshalls, these companies with like cheaper fabric, and they just make up the prices. So just we're making shit up now, I guess.
Did they use there had to have been a time where they actually did get overstock. There
Right.
were stores like that when I was growing up, at least, where it was the name brand clothes, and it would be like a hole was in the armpit.
It's not like that.
We had Gabriel Brothers in Pittsburgh, which was awesome. I think it's still there.
Oh, fun.
Value City. We had the store Value City.
Back in my day, it was actually discounted prices and not just make-em-ups.
Now we got make-em-ups. We don't really need more fast fashion.
No. And now we're living in a world where a burger and fries is $12. I'm sorry, that's not a fucking deal. That's a robbery.
Is that fast foods?
Yes, fast food, fast fashion. It's too expensive. Somebody sent me an Instagram and they're like, I paid $8 for this, like a smoothie. $8?
That's fucked up. That's still minimum wage in some states.
Yes, that's an hour of your life for a fucking smoothie?
It blows my balls off that in Pennsylvania, minimum wage has only gone up like $2 and something an hour since I had minimum wage jobs in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
That's do you know how long ago that was?
Not that long ago. You're a sprite young thing.
I'm Sprite. I'm not young. That's fine. Being young's garbage. But
Yes.
man, late 90s, fucking barely more minimum wage than then.
Back in my day, you could move out of your parents' house and get an apartment with one full-time job.
That is true.
Yeah. I feel like I'm like a crazy old lady. When like, all right, get you to bed, Amber. You need at least 3 jobs to live.
Well, you know, you're not quite there yet.
That Hailey Bieber smoothie is $20.
Well, that's just a scam.
Yeah, it's her name. That's it.
If you put somebody's name on stuff, they can upcharge it by like twice the amount they were going to.
You put my
that's
name
just
on it?
that's just basic celebrity bullshit.
That's right. How much would you charge for my name on a smoothie? The Amber Nelson smoothie, and it's just beer.
Put some chia seeds in it.
Oh, hell
Amber
yeah.
smoothie.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for the sub, Daniel Natcliffe.
My morning oats. You know how like all those influencers like come make breakfast with me, and it's like chia seeds with like yogurt.
Get out of my face with that shit.
I know
You know
do.
how I keep
Yeah.
my youthful glow? My youthful diet of microwave nachos.
Fuck yeah.
Yep, that's how you stay young.
Fuck yeah.
Getting
I
this notification you guys are going live was a highlight of my day. Yeah, Bex. Oh my god.
Bex. Oh, you're gonna drink an Amber Nelson smoothie. Cheers.
Beer and chia seeds, only $17.95. $2 cheaper than Hailey Bieber's.
That's right. I feel like
it's a deal.
beer with chia seeds. I'd be like it would be like tobacco. You ever accidentally drank one of those beers with tobacco in it?
Oh yeah,
Like your disgusting friend that dips.
like spits in it. Oh yeah,
Yeah, and you like pick it up and you're like, all right.
or somebody's just been using it as an ashtray at a party, and you think
Yeah.
it's your drink. Oh, that's rough.
That's a rite of
That's
passage.
an amber smoothie.
That's an amber smoothie. Anybody in chat ever done that? Just drank somebody else's dip?
Beer, dip, and chia seeds. You could probably sell that to a certain audience.
You could. I'd rather eat shit.
Did you know pre-chewed tobacco is actually a natural antioxidant?
I love it. I'm
It
going to
is.
live forever.
Yep. So take my word for it.
I love it. What is
Zelina, I thought that beer was brewed with tobacco. It could be. I've never tried.
Would you drink Natalie's slop? Yes, I would. I'd drink your piss.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you, honey. I don't know if you should. I try to drink a lot of water. Hopefully it's pretty clear.
That's right. Sometimes in the studio, I pee, and if it's clear, I don't flush it
Why?
because I don't want to waste the water.
Oh, okay. That's nice, I guess.
Thank you.
At least there's a reason.
Thank you. I don't want to waste this water. We're living on precious resources.
That's very nice. Thanks for the sub, Bridgoetta. Bridgoetta?
Bridgoetta.
Yeah,
So we got some news stories today that are not as fun as drinking strangers' backwash.
yeah, they're not. It's true. It's not as fun as. I mean, some of it's kind of nuts, and some of it's kind of terrible, and some of it's you got to make what you can out of the news. You have fun with
guess.
it. I don't know what that means. So I wanted to quickly bring up. We brought it up on the show today. There actually ended up being a Guardian article. We just were talking about the Darien Gap. I keep calling it the Dorian Gap, which is a fruit
Right.
that smells like poop.
Oh, right. And you're not allowed to eat it on the trains in like Japan, right?
Probably because it smells crazy.
Yeah.
It smells crazy. Have anyone had durian fruit before?
I had the ice cream, but that's something you get to be like, have you ever had durian fruit ice cream?
Oh, my hand's in the close shot. First time seeing you live, and it's so cool to see your faces. Thank you.
Oh, and
Yep.
Sugar Britches just gave a hella gift to your subs. Thank you, Sugar Britches.
Thank you, Madness_C. If you guys have had durian fruit before, it tastes sort of like vanilla pudding, and it smells like farts.
Like a corpse farts.
Yeah.
That's what it smells like.
That's not what I was trying to say. It's the Darien Gap.
The Darien Gap.
Which is the little strip in between South America and Central America, which is where we're having a lot of people entering Mexico. We talked about it a couple of episodes ago. And the Guardian actually just put an article about it. It's not a positive one, I'm sorry to say.
No, I'm sorry.
But it basically outlines what we were saying, which is, and I think it's because we covered it. I'm kidding. Rapists and kidnappers increasingly targeting migrants crossing the Darien Gap. And it is, I think we said it was almost 4 times as many this year as last year, because Doctors Without Borders is actually there, which is good. That's a
Right.
good thing.
So it's probably always been this bad. It's just that there's people there being like, how many?
Yeah, and partly I think also it's because it has the number of people crossing through has increased, so it's not good news.
No.
But at least that it's getting onto places like the Guardian and like and showing that like this is an issue. I actually had no idea Doctors Without Borders was there, which is a good thing. But I guess you can just say this. I don't know why I feel like this will be not a thing to say on Twitch, but there are things that have been fashioned called rape tents, which is what it sounds like. So people who are passing through the gap towards the end, so it is the Panamanian side, there's not really a cartel that's controlling it as much. So weirdly enough, on the other side, because the cartels are controlling it, they don't want SA to happen because it cuts into their money, because it draws police in.
Right. So if you see the report, it's like, look at all these assaults happening. Let's bring in the choppers.
Yeah.
Let's bring in the tanks, and let's give them some regulations.
It basically, it draws unwanted attention because they can't profit off of just random robbery essays. So they kind of regulate rapists from that side. which is, I don't know, like good.
Yeah. Because it's the cartel, I guess, are the good guys here.
Technically, but like
And they're not even doing it for good. They would let the
No.
rapes happen if it
they
was
don't
like
care, right?
they could still get money.
But basically, it's now when people are exiting that part of the jungle, there's these like more, I don't know, lawless cartels. People
I don't
who
think
are
can even follow any laws.
no,
I don't know. But,
But
yes,
yeah, so but Doctors Without Borders has been there for like a year, I think, and which is amazing. Like I wish if I had any services to render, I think that would be a really cool thing to do.
yeah.
So that's amazing. But yeah, so they've gotten up a bunch, and basically they need either a side of it, both countries, to be like participating in helping prevent this from happening, which is such a weird thing that we kind of mentioned earlier today, that you can ask the governments who are causing people to flee to help protect those people. And it's this weird dichotomy of like, government is all these different things. They're corrupt and they're helpful, and like they're just people. It contains multitudes. So even though the people are like fleeing these areas because of the corruption, also part of the way that countries work is like, if other countries go like, can you provide protections for the people fleeing your regime? Like sometimes that works, but you can't make them stop doing the other corruption. I don't know. It's just weird. Guys, it's weird.
God forbid someone be nice. God forbid. Just not even out of money. Just like, yeah, or not even be nice. Just like not be bad.
Have you tried talking to them?
You know what? Let's get on the phone with the cartels. Hello? 1-800?
Or the governments of Panama.
I'll get on the phone with them.
You want to give him a call?
I'll give him a
Let's
call.
get him on the air live. Somebody, can you guys?
Hello?
Tirzo, can you patch us in?
Hello? Can you stop being so mean, please? God.
God.
I'll use my popular girl, my high school popular girl, because I was popular in high school. I'll use that privilege.
Have they tried to mean girl the government yet?
You guys are being like fucking gross.
Ew.
Ew.
Ugh. Ugh.
I think it would stop.
It might work. I don't know if anybody's tried this yet.
Have you seen a 14-year-old popular girl shade somebody? They fucking back down.
Dude, until almost middle school, I went to like a like poorer school, and there were certain threats that were there. We moved when I was almost a teenager into like what would be considered like a safer area, which was the suburbs. Mm-hmm. The psychological warfare that little white girls do is, I was unprepared for it. It was the scariest. I would have easily taken street fights.
It's a lot, because what they'll do is they'll be like, it's a safe place, come and chat. And then they learn everything about you and then use it against you later.
Yeah.
Did you know Natalie started her period?
Or if you don't shave your legs
Right.
the right time. A group of the mean girls somehow saw me through the window of my parents' house dancing, like doing ballet in the front window. And then they made a name I can't even say because it's not allowed to be said anymore. It's not a good word. Is it
an R word?
yes, an R word wearing a leotard. And that's what they screamed at me every day.
Ballet?
They came to my house and saw me through the window.
They sound like losers, you know?
One of them did have a horrible heroin addiction afterwards.
Of course. They don't know what the fuck's going on. Fuck them.
Yeah, Bridget, tell the government they're being cringe.
Exactly.
Ugh.
I'm going to write a burn book.
About for the Panamanian government.
What if that's how people can read the Panama Papers? Because there was like a thing called the Panama Papers that was like outlining all of the government's atrocities. And like, of course, the person who wrote it died. But like, not a lot of people read it. I'm going to do it as like a burn book and be like, can
With,
you
like,
believe?
pictures and be like, ew, gross. Look at his stupid face. Guess what he
Ew.
did? And then, like,
For-profit prisons?
Yeah.
Yuck. They are smelly.
yeah, we talk a lot about that on this week's episode, for-profit prisons. It's fun.
With like hearts crossed out and shit.
Arkham Benji, you're here for Tim Ballard's brown booty hole. I'm gonna guess it is brown and kind of gross and
You know,
stinky.
the guy on the Disneyland ride, I saw that video. He has a big round booty hole. Disgusting. I don't know if you guys have seen the video.
I haven't, but man,
can't show
it's
it
been
here.
described to me so many times today by so many people. I feel like I've seen it. I feel like I was there with him.
Right, on drugs.
Yeah.
God, I messed up my shoulder opening up a squash. I like did this. I like ripped it open like a
that?
He-Man, and now this is all fucked up. Yeah. Whatever.
Like
I'll be
his brown
fine.
booty.
His brown booty. So anyways, Tim Ballard's brown booty hole.
So yeah, that's another thing I wanted to bring up today. I know I keep talking about LDS guys, but there's just it is a matrix. I use the word matrix. God damn.
That's okay.
It is a labyrinth. It's a labyrinth of crazy scandal and corruption. And I know we've talked about Tim Ballard and Operation Underground Railroad a few times on the stream. My string theory board is coming. I'm doing it.
I love it.
So be excited. Everybody set your calendars. I don't know what day it is yet, but I have set up a structure. It starts with Joseph Smith and it just spider webs out all these different directions, all these different kinds of crimes, all of these different little facets that come from LDS that just do like the worst things on earth. It's crazy. So we talked about Operation Underground Railroad and sort of the corruption that's being talked about now because, of course, they had the movie come out called The Sound of Freedom, which is supposed to be like a fictional retelling of Tim Ballard's courageous saving of children. And after the movie came out, there was a lot of questions about, well, wait, what is this? Kind of weirdly, he was doing this. I think Tim Ballard was really psyched for this movie because it made him seem really cool, but it actually drew him into the mainstream spotlight. And then they were like, wait a second, what's he doing?
He looks like one of those guys that does CrossFit and has Tic Tac nipples, and he's just like, oh, you gotta push it. You gotta push it every day. Just kind of dumb, but thinks they're really smart.
Well, that is sort of, unfortunately, it's not that every guy in the LDS church is dumb, but they've been taught from like age 12, they are demigods as guys in that church. Like I'm being a little bit like blanket statement with that, but everyone I've spoken to who was a part of that religion, please feel free to correct me if you were ever an LDS member, is that when you reach almost puberty, they're basically like, you're it. You did it.
You're the man.
Now you're so smart.
You're the man
Don't
now,
even worry
dog.
about learning anything. It's cool. Yeah. And so that does breed a guy like Tim Ballard. And I don't know if he works out that much. I want to say it's mostly steroids.
Probably. God, can you imagine like the insufferableness of being raised? Because I've known people when I was a kid that were told like, you're the most special boy. And they, of course, amounted to nothing because they get to the real world and they're like, I don't like it that nobody likes me. And you're like, yeah, no one knows who you are. No one gives a shit. So me and my
because you have to
family-
try slightly.
You have to try. And like me, it's almost like a blessing with my family that they're like, Amber, we're not going to bail you out of prison. Here's all the wrong things you've done. Say you're sorry. So now as an adult, I'm like, oh, I got to like shine my shoes and get up.
That's true. But I feel like in that environment, a lot of boys in that situation where you were growing up, they would have gotten bailed out of jail for things.
And they have.
And
And they have.
they have. Whoopsie. Am I telling family secrets? Yeah. Anyway, so Tim Ballard, after The Sound of Freedom became this thing, people are like, wait a second, what's happening here? What's going on? And it's slowly devolved over the last half a year that not only is OUR, first off, incredibly insulting name, but it's not only being accused of these very horrible things, they're also embezzling millions of dollars. I mean, like,
Tax-free, baby.
also being the LDS church is funding them. Like, I'm talking like I think it was something like they made like $40 million from donations or something, like an insane amount of money. And there's no proof that they have done anything. Like, so first off, not good. That's not good. And now all of these women were like going behind the scenes and being like, by the way, he also made us pretend like we were his wife and do all this stuff. And they were anonymous for a long time. So, but this just happened, guys. This is why I'm bringing this up. 6 of the accusers have now come forward. They were all like Jane Does and John Does, and people were saying they were lying. They were plants. They were trying to just, they were pedophiles trying to stop him from doing his work, which was allegedly saving children from human trafficking, which, again, really no evidence of that.
No.
So they just did this press conference. I can't believe it's not being covered more because it is bad news.
Like, because they own some of the networks.
I mean, who knows?
I'm guessing with all that money. And the people that like this thing, like this is the same movie where they were like, I noticed that the heating was out. The AC was out in the movie theater. It's almost like they don't want you to see it. I'm like, what do you mean they? You have so much money. You are the they.
Yeah, dude. I don't know if you guys remember that. I think it was over the summer.
Yeah.
When Sound of Freedom came out, and it was allegedly all these empty theaters, even though it said they were sold out and all this. I think it's probably about 50% fake, 50% real. Like there were, what's it called?
Astroturfing?
Astroturfing. The church was buying tickets. It doesn't mean that nobody saw it. I'm sure people genuinely went to go see it. But yeah, so for a long time, he was getting these accusations, but there wasn't anyone coming forward. And now 6 of them came forward and were like, okay, fine. Here we are. We're not made up people. And a lot of them are LDS members, which is really rough because they are intentionally left naive. That if you are deep in that church, the women who got taken advantage of by him were intentionally not taught how to discern
how to say no,
real from fake, from good and bad, or what consent is. Like none of that was taught to them. So
yeah, that's why there's this new talk about on social media about how children are being taught consent, and a lot of conservatives, I don't want to say who because I don't want to draw attention to them, but they took it as to children being told like yes, which makes me think like check your fucking hard drive because they're being told what is no and like what is bad,
right?
Because it usually comes from the family and like your most trusted sources.
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of where a lot of these women come from, is that place where they just wanted to help kids.
Yeah.
Eric, I think I sent a video. Do you want to play that video real quick of their...
Humiliating to share the most mortifying moments of my life publicly.
5 women and one of their husbands speaking publicly for the first time, outlining the details of what they say happened in their own words.
How many more women have to come forward for this to be taken seriously?
The 5 women all say they took part with Ballard or a different OUR employee in a so-called couples ruse, a tactic Ballard has described as being necessary to fool sex traffickers. But in lawsuits, the women allege that the practice ultimately led to things like lap dances, showering together, and sexual assault. The group says seeing Ballard publicly deny the allegations and his organization make statements that they believe discredit them is hard to hear.
It's very infuriating. It's triggering.
The group claims that the board of OUR protected Ballard when the women reported that they had been sexually assaulted.
Don't tap below. You can't. Don't do it.
That's such a sad, because these women really believe that they were going to do help and they don't know.
They did. They thought that they were helping. And I really recommend you go find, it's like a 23-minute, I think, press conference.
Yeah.
You can find it online easily. I recommend you guys listen because it's essentially they were trafficked. Like they became trafficked while they were under the impression they were trying to save children by the dudes running this, including by the not the district attorney. There's a guy up in government. Oh my
Some
God.
other fucking guy.
There was a guy basically making this organization, giving them relevancy because he was from the government and he was like vouching for them. I wish that I had his name offhand.
Wow.
If anybody remembers which guy that is.
Fuckers McSteves.
Fuckers McSteves. Yeah. You would think by the name, you would have known better.
You would have known.
But yeah, so it's really brutal. Not only that, so most of those women were making statements about being tricked into basically having sex with him.
Of course, he looks like the kind of guy you got to trick into having sex with people.
Yeah. And he would be, it's so fucking gross. He would say stuff like, they need to make sure that we really come across as a couple. And so I need to like basically assault you, take showers with you, like stuff like that. Things that are nonsense. But they don't know they don't know better.
And they're like, yes. But if you want to see them as a couple, we got to argue. We got to argue in public. And
I know, right? That if they really so he has this fucking term called the couples ruse, and I'm so sick of hearing that term, couples ruse, because that's how he tricked women into being assaulted by him. Would basically be like the ruse was like, we need to like really make them believe we're a couple. But yes, that would be the real, just being like, can I talk to you over here?
Can I talk to you for a minute?
A second. Okay, can you come over this?
Sure. I said I was allergic to chicken, and you ordered the chicken.
Cannot do this right now.
Can't do this right now. It's like really awkward.
Like,
Ooh, we got a comment.
Mary Poppin' it. I had a friend that would call Mormonism Mormanity as a bit to annoy her Mormon friends. So now my brain goes, I hear that in Mormanity. And it makes me giggle inappropriately in the middle of these dark, really traumatizing stories. I know we have to be silly sometimes.
Because if it's all doom and gloom, I couldn't listen to it.
It's hard to take it all in at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, but not only that, so you guys have to go look into OUR. Not only was he doing this on this one side, so he's embezzling money, he is assaulting women who think they're helping, but he's also doing these the training. What they were describing made me think of practice when I do stunt. Like for years, you go to like these huge stunt people training sessions where you're like pretending. You learn how to like look like you're doing a police raid. Like you learn how to like hold different kinds of weapons. But he was doing that for people who wanted to live out this weird fantasy of saving kids, but they weren't actually doing it. But they were doing these big training sessions with people who were not professional in any way. And so one of the women in that press conference, the one who had a white shirt on, she was kind of wiping her face. She's an actual former Marine and did all of this really incredible work, like advocating for assault victims and stuff for years. And so she came into this not an LDS member, one of the few who wasn't,
right?
Because she really thought she could help. And as she started being involved, she was like, wait, what's happening? What's going on here? But early on, she was participating in these training sessions. And because they were trying to live out action movies, she ended up being kicked so hard in the face that it shattered her orbital bone.
Whoa.
Her eye almost fell out. She had to like have titanium replaced, I think, somewhere up here. You have to listen to her say.
Because they just got this ego carried away. Yeah, let's fucking go.
She was like broke her skull, and they wouldn't. Tim Ballard was like, we can't get an ambulance here because he didn't want people to see what they were doing. So they wouldn't call 911. They drove her to an emergency room, and she still doesn't have full vision in her eyes.
Fuck him and his pink little asshole.
Yeah. So not only was this shit happening, also this chaotic shit that they were spent. By the way, all of the donations they were getting are going to stuff like this where they get to pretend to be stunt people, essentially.
It's all ego. It's not really about saving the kids. It's ego.
It's very much ego, because if you look at a movie like Sound of Freedom, if you listen to any of the actual, organizations that have been around trying to save children, it's not sexy and fun. It's not like a guy busting in like his shirt open being like,
no,
I've got you, kids.
It's like judicial process.
Yeah, it's really sad and dark and like a lot of times like really kind of boring. It's not like a movie. And so that's already should be a red flag if it's a guy trying to be like, I'm Tim Ballard. I got him.
Right.
Don't question me.
Don't you question. I feel like failed actors are the new failed painters, if you catch my drift. Failed actors are the new failed painters.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got you.
Gotta watch out for these blokes.
So I'm probably not going to stop talking about OUR and LDS stuff because it is endlessly fascinating in the worst way. I don't like relish that they keep showing up in the news, but man, there is so many different LDS based stories. If I didn't mention that he is a member of the LDS church and was also told by the guy who wrote, okay, here's a part of the fucking web connection. The guy who wrote Visions of Glory, I've talked about this before, Tom Harrison, who is the guy who influenced like Lori Vallow and several other people. So inspired to kill their families. That guy predicted that Tim Ballard was going to be the president of the United States and the new apostle for the LDS Church. So
Did he wipe his ass too? Did he suck his dick?
hey, you know, that would be the least of my problem.
I feel like these men, these ego men, just need a good milking. Lock them in a cave.
That's all they get is milking.
Get a good dick suck in there.
No.
They can't leave.
No, they need fewer. Do you
Milk
understand?
them. Milk them
Oh,
dry so they're dumb.
No. Opposite. All they do, their entire religion is based on being milked by like 7 people. They need less. They need to understand they have to earn.
Earn the milking?
Yeah.
All right, so chat, what do we think? More milking or less milking?
No.
More milk? Can we run a poll? Thank you. More milk, less milk.
No, you
See,
sound.
I think milk them so much they don't know, they can't get up. And they're like, I'm so dizzy.
Oh, so you make them all dried out.
Oh, yeah, milk. You can't leave the cage. Oh, poll is up. Milk or no milk? More milk or less milk?
We're really, man.
This is content.
It's. I've had like a third of a glass of wine. Okay, so we have that. I'm gonna keep talking about it. I hope that it doesn't annoy you, but I don't care. To be honest, you don't have to watch.
I love it.
You can leave.
I'm excited for your conspiracy board.
It's not. It is pure
It's fact.
fact driven.
Of course, that's
It
what a
is
conspiracist would say.
I'm only going off of things that have happened, but also have not been directly connected to each other.
Right.
But they do connect.
Right. I picture like Henry walking in on you and you're like, I gotta pit over
Do you
here.
think anything I'm doing is anything crazier than what Henry's doing?
Right.
At any
You're
given
both
day?
joining in.
He'd be like,
Oh.
"Oh, good for you."
Good for you.
Okay. So we talked that.
Less milking wins.
Yeah, of
Wow.
course.
The polls have said.
You would have had to have done that poll in a stream for Mormons for them,
Right.
for it to be more
We
milking.
like the men milking.
More milking. Only in marriage, of course.
Oh, God.
Wink. Wink.
Or a fake marriage. If you have sex in a fake marriage, are you still a virgin?
What does that mean?
I don't know. What's the next story? I don't know.
We know about, I mean, I don't know if you remember, we've talked about soaking before.
Oh, you just leave the penis in there and you don't go back and forth?
That's,
Those Mormons are that's kind of hot.
I guess you could think of it as hot if
I'll
you
try
wanted to. If you needed to get through that experience.
Let's run another poll. Hot or not hot? Soaking.
I
hot or
could
not
see
hot?
it being a fetish once you are not like exclusively prohibited from it,
Right.
other sex. I could see it like being a fun kink.
If you there's like a myriad of kinks. There's lots of kinks to choose from. You're like,
Yeah, you're like soaking. Like we can't. We're not married yet. It's so naughty.
People say not hot. Thank you.
She
not
milk
hot,
on my
hot.
marriage till I'm Mormon. L'Oreal. Okay. We need a shift. This is no
Right.
more that talk
No
for a
more
second.
milking.
I do want to bring this up just briefly because it was something I learned about Summer Wells' case just the other day. When we covered Summer Wells, I used one of the references I used was a private detective. His channel is called The Interview Room, and he's one of the reasons we have any interviews with any of Summer Wells' family. If you need a review of Summer Wells, she went missing from her, I guess we'll call it a home. It was not a good place to live for a little kid.
Right.
And her parents have never been charged with anything, but there's a lot of speculation that they might have had something to do with her disappearance. And that was about 2.5 years ago when she went missing. She was 5. Oh no, we can't talk about the soaking verdict right
I
now.
know. Well, real quick, they said not. They don't like the soaking. We don't
No,
like the soaking.
not hot.
And now we're off to this little girl. Who
I
went
hope
missing.
you don't. Yes, great.
All right. Thank you.
So Summer Wells, I wanted to first off just pop in an age progression that they did earlier this year for her. I sent you a link for that, Eric.
Right. Oh, this is another piece of shit Tic Tac nipple guy.
Well, her father's a dark dark person. So yes, so Summer Wells, there you see on the left, that was about what she looked like whenever she disappeared. This is an age progression that she might look like now. We still want to keep hope that she is with us on this mortal coil. We don't know. There is a large chance that potentially her family had something to do with it. But basically her parents they both have records for different things. Her father, which we talked about on the show, has a history of SA things.
But there is a hype train incoming.
Oh God.
So if we get the hype train, I know we're talking about a missing child. What do we do to congratulate the audience? We're at 94%.
Everybody,
You get a
oh man.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I don't know how to do a hype
But there's
train.
it's a hype train. Yay. Thank you for the hype train, everybody. I don't know. I mean, I can't run another milking poll.
No, not right now.
It's a missing child. We don't know what she looks like, or we have an age progression.
We do.
Yep.
Summer Wells, it truly, this was one of those stories that always sticks with me. I feel very frustrated for many reasons. So this happened in Tennessee, and we covered it. You guys can go back and listen to the episode if you want to, but she was 5. She went missing from her family's very scary home. She was basically living in a dungeon in their house. Her parents are not what I would call like very smart, I guess. I don't really know what else to say. They didn't have any chance growing up, I don't think, but still you can still take accountability for your actions, even if you had really poor upbringing. But a really crazy thing I didn't know. So there is all kinds of trauma in both sides of her parents' families. We talked about her mother's sister has been missing for a long time. So Summer Wells' mother's name is Candace, and her sister Rose has been missing for, I don't remember what year it was, but it's quite a while. It was before Summer disappeared. And they're probably not connected, but there's all this different trauma. And I just learned that Summer's great uncle, so her grandmother's brother, who her grandmother lived on the property and still lives on the property where she disappeared from, is a prolific child molester.
Prolific? I don't know if that's prolific is like what you do with a pianist.
I mean, it's prolific in the number.
Word.
If you want to pull that up there, if you scrolled, so this is Summer Wells's great uncle. He's not, I don't think he's in jail, so it's not because he had something to do with it. But if you want to scroll down,
We do have a hype train at 28%. We have 2 minutes and 48 seconds left.
so look at this record here.
Whoa, fucking cut his dick off and give it to the pigs. 56% hype train.
He's like somebody who they caught when they weren't catching sexual predators all the time.
Whoa, 83% hype train.
Sorry.
Oh no. So they caught him after he'd fucking did all that bad stuff? 2 minutes.
Yep.
We have 2 more minutes, guys.
They did. He's in jail.
Oh my God, we have a hype train. Yay. So they caught this child molester. Thank you for the hype train, 100%. Now we have another hype train coming. And he was prolific child molester.
Oh my God.
And they caught his ass.
This is dystopian.
They threw him in prison. Thank you.
But thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Hype train.
Thank
Yay.
you.
I hope he gets cancer of the AIDS. Thank you, Lisa Pizza. What a poet.
So anyway, something I wanted to just show our age progression photo, and also
Of this guy?
just like to show you. We keep talking about generational trauma and all that on the show, and
43% hype train. I'm sorry, guys. Let's keep going. I
how
gotta
do you stop a hype train?
I think we gotta keep it going because this is how the studio makes money. You know. All right, hype
You're
train.
sick. You're not. I do appreciate it. But just so he was like notorious within the,
67% hype train. So he was notorious. He was a notorious pedophile.
Yeah.
How many
Within
kids?
the courts.
Whoa.
Yeah. Not good. And nothing to do with Summer's disappearance. But just an interesting and very sad and troubling look at how we get to here.
83% hype train. I know. Okay, great.
It's good. Her parents have not been convicted of anything. It's still open. It's still moving forward.
We have 100% hype train. Thank you so much, everybody, for subbing and subscribing. 92. We have another hype train. 97%. 97%.
I should not have ended with this one.
It's all right. 97%. Can we get 100% hype train? So keep it going, Natalie.
Go revisit Summer Wells. Go look at her age progression. Go read her story again. It truly, please, on top of all of the silliness, please go read her story again. I think about her all the time. I still think somebody. Oh, also her father's been doing threatening phone calls to everybody who's ever covered it.
What an idiot. How dare you? Come on, I'll come get you.
If you want to see really good coverage, go follow the interview room. But go revisit her story. I'm going to stop talking about her now because we are defiling her with our
We have
nonsense.
a hype train, 100% hype train.
Anybody? Is there something you wanted to cover?
Hype train. Oh, this is the article with the thing that we already covered. Hype train. We have a 16%. Thank you, everybody.
We have to leave 5 minutes early, so we've got 10 minutes left.
10
Anybody
minutes.
got questions?
Questions, answers. God, I feel like there was something I sent you that was like, holy fucking moly.
I mean, I get that from you all the time. Now, I think I've said this before on lives, but
right.
I started making you give me a brief synopsis of what you just send me random links, and I'm like, is this a cute thing or is this a thing that I'm going to be looking at in the dark in my mind for the next 3 hours?
And it's just funneling. Well, Natalie and I were talking about the people who own private prisons and a lot of ICE detention centers and how they make billions of dollars. So these guys are like truly shadow government. I had no idea. And I'm looking at one of them because I'm a stock girl. Core Civic is one of them. You can buy in at $14.69. They're not doing well. If you can see the charts.
Good.
They're not doing very well. They went down.
Yeah, so basically what Amber's describing there is something we're covering on this week's show, which is we talk about ICE a lot today on the recording, and I think a lot of us have heard before that there's a prison industry. I hadn't realized that ICE was also a part of that. So there are a bunch of privately owned detention centers that are making millions of dollars from detaining undocumented people. It's trash. And people, I guess you can buy stock in it.
Yeah, you can buy stock. There's also, I didn't know this.
Core Civic. It is a company that...
Look it up. I mean, don't buy stocks. But
please don't.
Aramek, about Aramek. I didn't know this, but food is the same in prisons and schools. Look at that. And they give uniforms. The uniforms are the same in schools and prisons. Would you look at that? And actually, the
Cool.
stock says to buy. The market says buy.
Please don't. Good Lord. They,
Oh, man.
Yeah. Evil shit, man. People are making tons and tons of money from being contracted out by ICE.
Whoa.
Okay. El Condor Pasta 69. Have you all seen the Love as One doc? I have. It's very frustrating.
Oh, right. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. 1 in 6 Australian men are pedophiles.
Oh, yes.
Look at that.
So that was something you sent me on TikTok. One of the very fun things you sent me on TikTok.
Right.
And that was, mind you, that was one study, and it was a decent study, but it was only done in about 1,200 people. So it's it's a sample. I'm not saying that's not a big issue.
Because I bet some of those guys are like, no, I'm not a pedophile.
Nar.
And they really are.
Well, see, but that was an anonymous thing, so I could actually see people also lying the other way too, thinking it's funny.
All right, no, I am a pedophile.
But I do think that there's also lots of people who are very troubled, which is why we need to worry about generational trauma and why we're here.
No, generational trauma.
So, yeah. Y'all watch the Twin Flames doc. Gen Z is going to hit the cult scene hard. El L'Oreal. Yes, I have. I did also listen to the podcast when it came out last year, and it was really interesting to put faces to names from listening to it. That is, it's absurd and it's frustrating and sad. The Love Has Won doc actually, I like sort of went between anger and just kind of feeling bummed out about it because they didn't even try. There was no gimmick. They're just hip. They're doing drugs all day and being like, we're helping by doing drugs all day.
I mean, have you done drugs all day? You really do feel like you're helping.
They did.
Yeah.
They really did. And if you haven't watched, are you aware of the Love Is One doc?
I haven't. I should watch more TV instead of just scrolling through TikTok and sending you the worst things I can find.
But she's super interesting because the mother god, as she's called, she was called.
So a lady cult leader, love it.
Yeah, they were having a good time till they weren't.
That's the title of our show. We're having a good time till we're not.
They believe, again, like the yoga crypto girlies.
Hype train. Yay! Yoga crypto.
They wouldn't take medicine. They wouldn't go to hospitals, but they were taking, what's it called? That turns you blue. Jesus Christ, what's it called? Somebody, quick.
Turns you blue. Oh, it's arsenic.
Colloidal silver, thank you. Colloidal silver. They were taking it in, especially Mother God. She was taking it in by the gallon. She was
Really?
And so when she was dying of a combination of alcoholism, like I think anorexia and colloidal poisoning, she was bright blue.
Oh my God.
And then she died, and then they carried her body around.
Oh, was she preserved like a monk?
Yeah, kind
That's
of.
kind of fucking rock and roll. And you preserve yourself. I love it. I mean, there's like monks, they eat like twigs and pine needles so they can like dehydrate themselves and they just sort of like slowly die and become a mummy at the same time.
It was, what I will say about the Love Is One called when she died, they really were very convinced. It wasn't a sham, even though they were just doing drugs. They were dragging her body around to different areas of the country, being like, where's the ship? Maybe the ship's going to be able to see us here. Oh. They were just waiting for her body to ascend to this other place. And they were looking. They were straight up just like looking and waiting for the ship to show up. And they took her body in a car to the forest, all kinds of places.
That's like a kid waiting for their dad to come home for Christmas.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. It's just like, oh, I guess the ship isn't coming.
And then they were like, I don't know what to do with the body now.
Somebody says Henry Kissinger is dead.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Who is Henry Kissinger again?
He's a very nice man.
Okay.
No, he's not.
I like it.
Wow,
he do?
he's old as hell. I mean, he was old. I honestly can't believe he was still alive.
Yeah, what did he do?
Did it just happen?
Whoa, thanks for the breaking news. Henry Kissinger's dead. So what did he do? 3 minutes ago.
Yes, I would call him a war criminal.
He was a war, so you can profit off of war. So much
Wow,
ways.
yeah, he was 100, yeah.
Wow.
Man, he made it longer than Betty White. That sucks.
That's so sad. It's crazy how people make money. Because I'm always like, oh, I guess I got to work harder. But some people are like, no, let's buy a prison. Buy a prison.
The family business of prison owning.
I got to start philandering and scheming, Natalie.
It is how you make money.
Yeah.
Sugar Britches 46, would you be willing to testify before Congress as Mean Girls? I absolutely would.
Yeah.
What is this even? Are you guys like... Do you need help or?
You need help? Henry Kissinger, you were like a war criminal? Like not Fetch.
Fetch is old now, Amber. We have
to
no Riz. You've got no Riz.
But that's already old, I think.
Is Riz old?
I think so. I think because, culture is on like a ball rolling down a hill and it just gets faster, 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 faster. Because remember in the 90s, it was like a decade long of like the pants and the goth or whatever, or I don't know what they fucking did. The fashion, like you think of 90s fashion. When you think of 2000s fashion, it's like, well, there's 2015 was very different than 2005. Like it's much shorter. So now like even Riz is like outdated.
I think that also happens just when you get past a certain age, then shit just accelerates. And because you're not changing puberty vibes, if that makes sense. That made sense.
Right.
But you know what I do like about now is that kind of anything goes, and there were such stringent fashion rules.
God, if you were like 5 pounds overweight in 2001, you might as well put a bullet in your head.
But I'm glad that we didn't.
But I'm glad that we didn't.
Thank you for the subs tonight, Daniel Natcliffe, Brigio Etta, Sugar Bridges 46, Simoninivich. Do you guys do this on purpose? The proper order: Arkham Benji, Mojo Agogo, Madness _ C, Tank Girl, Jet Girl, Bad Gen Bot, Lucky _ Mickey _ Ears. Only watches BOTW. What's BOTW?
Birth of the Wild? Breath of
Breath
the Wild.
of the
Is that a
Wild.
video game?
Thank you, Tirzo.
Very rich.
Anonymous Grifter, Mooney Griffith, Hoosie Bear, and Holden. Just Holden.
Hey, well, thank you so much. We've had a bunch of hype trains during a very unfortunate time. There's
Yes,
a little
that
girl
was-
that went missing, but thank you for the hype trains.
I very much should have realized I should have opened with that, and then we end with something sillier.
That's okay.
And that's on me.
We're figuring it out as we go. This is like a pretty dark humor thing, but also real. Trying to toe the line of like making jokes, but also this is serious. You know what I mean? And
Nope.
yeah, they like it. People like it. We're doing great. We love you guys. Yes, I love you, Natalie. I love you. Somebody said their 9-11-year-old cousins were saying Riz, so I guess we can still say it. This has been Riz.
Has it been? I don't think it's been Riz. I think it's been the opposite of Riz.
Right.
But you have Riz.
Thank you. You have Riz too.
Thank you.
Tirzo has Riz. Stick around for Tears of a Clown next, everybody.
That's it.
That's
we gotta get
it.
the fuck out of here.
Bye.
Bye.